Berberine. A compound used for centuries in traditional medicine, is now making waves in modern medicine. But can we trust it? In this video, I'll explore how today's research supports this ancient herbal remedy, especially in managing blood cholesterol. Let's started. What is berberine? Berberine is a natural yellow-colored alkaloid found in the roots, rhizomes, and stem bark of several plants, including golden seal, barberry, Oregon grape, and tree turmeric. What is berberine used for? Berberine has a rich history with two main types of use that stand out. One is the historical or traditional use of berberine, and the other is the modern use of this compound. The historical use of berberine dates back thousands of years, especially in traditional Chinese, Ayurvedic, and Middle Eastern medicine. Here is a summary of core historical use of berberine. Our video aims to explore the modern application of this compound in cholesterol reduction and examine how current research supports efficacy of berberine for blood cholesterol reduction. Several studies have uncovered the clinical benefits of berberine in reducing blood cholesterol levels. Here, I am going to demonstrate reliable studies that prove this clinical use of berberine. A systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials was conducted in 2023 to evaluate the effectiveness and safety of berberine on various cardiovascular conditions. In this randomized controlled trials, berberine was found to significantly improve lipid profiles, notably by lowering total cholesterol, low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, and triglycerides. Analysis of safety profile demonstrated that berberine was generally well tolerated, with mild gastrointestinal symptoms, such as diarrhea and constipation, being the most common adverse effects. Serious adverse events were rare. This study suggests that berberine may be a promising alternative for patients with cardiovascular diseases with no serious adverse reactions. Another randomized controlled trial was conducted in 2021 to evaluate the effects of berberine supplementation on cardiovascular disease risk factors, including cholesterol levels. In this study, individuals at risk for cardiovascular disease, typically with elevated cholesterol, high blood pressure, or metabolic syndrome were randomized to receive either berberine supplementation or a placebo for a certain period, usually several weeks to months. Berberine doses ranging from 500 to 1,500 mg per day. Key measurements. The researchers focused on changes in blood lipid profile, for example LDL, HDL, total cholesterol, and triglycerides, systolic and diastolic blood pressure, blood glucose levels and insulin sensitivity, inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, CRP, and oxidative stress markers, for example malondialdehyde. Study results demonstrated that participants who received berberine had a significant reduction in total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, as well as improved HDL levels. Berberine also showed positive effects on blood glucose, blood pressure, and reduction of inflammatory markers. The trial concluded that berberine supplementation could have beneficial effects on several cardiovascular risk factors, such as lipid profile, blood pressure, blood glucose, and inflammation. The study suggested that berberine might be a valuable adjunctive therapy for managing cardiovascular disease risk, though further research would be needed to confirm long-term outcomes. There are other randomized controlled trials that examined berberine's effects on lipid profile. Overall, the evidence is fairly consistent that berberine has modest but meaningful beneficial effects, particularly in people with dyslipidemia or metabolic syndrome. Bottom line. Based on the current evidence, berberine appears to moderately improve lipid profiles in adults with dyslipidemia. These beneficial effects include lowers LDL, total cholesterol, and triglycerides, and may slightly raise HDL. We need to keep in mind that these effects are not as large as those seen with potent lipid-lowering drugs, like statins, and never do not replace this compound with your dyslipidemia medications. However, berberine could have a role as an adjunct or for individuals who prefer lifestyle-based approaches. Safety of berberine over the short to medium-term use seems acceptable, but more data on long-term use needed.
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and please subscribe to get future video lessons.